Shocking.
Oh, we're live. I was like waiting, like, Dad, are you going to press the let's go live button?
You did press
You
it.
did. Look at that. We're like right on schedule. We are.
I know. Nobody's going to be here.
Yeah. The goal is that everybody's going to be stunned that we're live. Yes. Yeah, that is the goal. So that's the plan. So welcome everybody to Tuesday Night Dreaming on Wednesday night.
Yes.
Yeah, Tuesday Night Dreaming on Wednesday night. That's right.
Yeah, we're procrastinators.
We're procrastinators. It's true. Well, I mean, the real issue is that I had a red eye flight yesterday and was pretty zonked. So, we postponed it one day.
Yeah.
And there we go. It's pretty discombobulated all day yesterday. Yeah. So, Nikisha, wonderful to see you. Hello, Annette. Look at there. I heard people are jumping on right at our go time. I guess we should be on time more often. So
we should.
Yeah, that's right.
Won't be.
Yeah, great to see. That's right. Great to see everybody. Oh, I had a dream. Someone sent me a dream I was supposed to send to you, Dad. Did I ever email you a dream?
I don't know. I can check.
It's been a whirlwind the last 4 or 5 days. Well, I said to Erin, I said, I'm tired today. I'm tired, I think, because of the last 6 years. So here we go. I'm sending it to you right now. I had it in my drafts. So we have some dreams discombobulated. Yes, that's a good word. Yeah, that's right. Well, here we are on Tuesday/Wednesday night dreaming. Just a special time this week. We'll be back to our regular time next week. And I had a good time seeing our friends out in Alberta. I was just in Renee's neck of the woods. Renee Mayers, one of our longtime listeners. Renee wasn't able to make it out to the meetings that we were at because she has family birthdays, and we see where the allegiances lie. So yeah. Family birthday or come see me. I mean, it's an obvious choice. Family birthdays. Yeah. So yeah, we're right in the middle of birthday month with all the kids. So we have all our kids. I mean, this, Dad, of course. I'm testing your knowledge of your grandchildren's birthdays. I hope Kim. I had a great time with you guys. I stayed with Kimberly and Doug. Yeah, they're just great friends. I mean, we had one night. What was it? Saturday night, I think we were up till like 11:30, just talking about God and issues of life and following Him, and it was just a rich time together. So, it was wonderful. Very good time with Kim and Doug. So, anyway. Yes. So birthday month is our oldest birthday. The oldest child's birthday is May 7th, and all the birthdays fall between May 7th and June 8th. So, yes, yeah. So yeah, it was a good trip to Calgary. So. And lots coming up here in the next few weeks. I'll be here in Summerside, PEI at our home church preaching this Sunday, and then going to be in London, Ontario the weekend after, and then Bathurst, New Brunswick the weekend after that, and then Dallas, Texas the weekend after that. So it's a long string of good things. So. Yes. So what's new with you, Dad?
Well, not much.
Not much. Okay. Well,
there's always something, But I just live for Tuesday nights, and then when you mess me up on Wednesday,
throw you onto a Wednesday night and totally mess you up.
That's all. I'm retired.
That's right. Yeah.
I look forward to it all week, and man, it's gone.
Yeah. Well, it happens.
No, she's just still working and planning to how to get to Dallas if diesel fuel gets put on
on rations.
on rations. Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
Come on.
that's this Dallas trip that we have upcoming is Aaron and Cassie and our youngest and I. Hey Renee, great to see you. Yeah, Dallas, Texas. Mainly meetings with I won't be speaking anywhere, but meetings with different teachers and such. But Aaron and Cassian, who is our youngest, and I will be there in June. And the plan right now is that you're going to come out, right? And we'll have our first face-to-face moment since 2019. So
I know it's been forever.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. COVID has meant I haven't seen you or really any of the rest of my family since before COVID because of the travel bans and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, looking forward to that. Yeah. Yeah. So that's
we've got a really short dream here. Are you ready for it?
I am.
Without bringing Michelle on.
We'll just do the text version.
I went out and sat on the curb next to a yard sign that I felt like was a for sale sign.
Okay, well, here the question I have is, was the for sale sign in front of your house or was it just kind of generically there? I mean, I don't even know if that's all that important, but you know what? I mean, a for sale sign means either you or someone is really considering making some big changes, and hasn't happened yet, but
yeah,
could be coming. So that's what I'm wondering, if Michelle, was it your for sale sign or you just sat there? Was it in front of your house?
She doesn't know. There was, what did she say? There was yellow flowers.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just a for sale sign. So in the dream, she goes and sits next to a for sale sign with yellow flowers around it. And in the dream, you were with your husband and then you walked and sat down. Was there any other, was that all of the dream? That was it? You were standing with your husband and then you walked over to the for sale sign and sat down? Okay. Yeah, that was the whole dream. So standing with her husband.
And your husband and you are getting along okay? I'm sure you are. Just kidding.
Well, I think if I remember, Michelle had a dream with, wasn't it Michelle that had the dream where her depends on the day. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. I walked away from him, sat down, and everything was for sale.
What do you think, Dad? For sale sign dream?
Well, you're right. It does speak to changes, but it there can always be a play on words. There's she walks out, sits next to a for sale sign, not aware that not thinking that it's her own. It's like she's surprised that something's for sale and that it's brightly colored with yellow flowers around it. That she's becoming aware that there are shifts and changes around her that don't necessarily have to have bad outcomes.
Yeah, well, that's good. Yeah, I like that. Shifts and changes happening around her that don't necessarily have to have bad. Yeah, that's the yellow flowers, right? There's hope and promise.
Right. Yeah, because it could be fear, but it's not a negative dream, so it speaks to the positive.
Right. Yeah. And because it was her sitting there and not her husband, it could mean that there's some stuff shifting for her. Yeah. So, and here, let's bring this one up. Just another quick one. Steven's dream. I had a dream the other night that I was working under a car and it fell on me. Yeah, good to know. Michelle says her husband's not for sale. Yeah. Okay, not the first time he's had that dream.
Okay.
And yeah, whose car was it? What kind of car was it?
And what color was it?
And that's a good question. What color was it, if you remember those things? And do you work on cars typically?
That's a good question.
Yeah. So yeah, whose car was it? What color was it? Renee likes Michelle's comments. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. What? Yeah. I'm a mechanic. It was yellow and it was his father's. WS, is that what that says in yellow? And my father's? It must be so it was his father's car and he was working on it, working underneath it, and it fell. So was yellow. Okay. I thought I was reading into that a little bit. So Stephen is a mechanic. I thought that was the case, Stephen.
Yeah.
The car was yellow, and not because I divined that or something like that. Stephen goes to our church, and so I thought he was a mechanic, and it was his father's. And so did it crush you or did it fall on you, just surprise you? Was it catastrophic injuries? Did it fall in before it could harm you? You woke up. What happened when it fell on you? So that's the question. That's the question. What happened when it fell on you?
Yeah, because if you, let's say you had this dream, we're just talking hypotheticals while he's answering.
Yeah.
And you were crushed under the weight of the car, that's one outcome. But if you aren't crushed, if everything is fine, that's another outcome.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So that's where we juxtapose those things. We think what's the difference between the dream if he's crushed or if he's not crushed. So in this one, obviously changes the tone and feeling of the dream. So in this one, he says he crushed and he woke up feeling like the wind was being squeezed out of him. Yeah. Well, working on the underside of a car, right? You're working on the things that not many people see.
Right.
And you would, because of the outcome in the dream, you would generally categorize this as a warning dream. Watch out for the eventual outcome. Take care, right? Because I would imagine that, thinking practically, if you've ever been a mechanic and there's been a problem with the car being lifted and potentially falling on you, you probably never forget to take precaution the next time if you're there around for the next time, right? And so it's a warning dream in that sense. So there's some work you're doing that many people, the work you're doing is on things of your father's business, the father. And it's things that you're working on, things that most people don't see. Not so much your own stuff. We're always working on our own stuff. That doesn't mean that Stephen or anybody's not working on their own stuff. It just means in the context of the car, he's working on his dad's car. And it is a car generally would represent the some kind of ministry, some kind of thing that you're involved in. The fact that it's yellow means it probably brings hope and light to other people. And since it's your father's, you're talking about something the father does. And I think in the stuff you do on behalf of your father that most people don't see, the tinkering around with the inner workings of things, just pay attention to the things you're involved with.
Really? That's as good as you're going to get on that.
What do you go ahead then? You take a shot at it.
Must be that red eye.
Yeah, it must be.
Well, because he is a mechanic,
Yeah,
so he's working on a car in a
right,
garage.
right. But it's his dad's car.
Yes, but it's still. I mean, it's true. I mean, if I were to dream of houses, and
Yeah,
people
well,
know I'm
all
a real estate
okay,
appraiser.
you go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah, then and somebody else dreams of a house, then I have to ask the question of myself at that point: is this a work-related dream, or is this something else? Because I have to differentiate out which
Sure.
what's the implications there. And he is crushed under the weight of this car, and he feels like it's overwhelming to him even when he wakes up.
Right.
So that he could be about the father's business, and that's true, but it would be something that he feels like is crushing him, and it's overweight, it's overcoming him in ways that he
Sure.
hasn't had
Okay,
an
that makes
answer
sense.
for.
Yeah.
So I would say that it's probably a work related thing, that there's just some things going on at work that just seem overwhelming at the
Right.
moment. And so why is it his father's car? It's really personal kind of stuff.
Right.
It's real close to him in this, and that it seems overwhelming at the moment. Doesn't have a solution for it yet.
Yeah, actually, that makes sense, Dad. I like that because he did say, Stephen did comment that it's not the first time he's had
Yeah.
a dream like that, or that dream, meaning that there's situations that we have dreams recurring because they're telling us the kind of things, or why do I feel overwhelmed, or why do I feel like
Right.
the responsibilities are crushing me?
Right.
Well, there's some things at work that aren't going very well.
You do a great job. I just had to harass you on that one.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You can do that. Yeah. Yeah. Why do I feel like life? Oh yeah, your dad's right. Thanks, Stephen. No. Your dad's right. I'm in the midst of a career change. Yeah. And it feels overwhelming. Yeah.
Oh wait, I didn't get that cha-chang.
Yeah.
Wrong hand.
Yeah.
Well, so I wouldn't say necessarily inheritance, Renee.
Thanks, Stephen.
So we go. we have.
We'll just bring this one up, just just so we can have it on there for a second. You still rock, Josh. Thanks, Stephen.
You do rock, Josh.
Yeah.
Inheritance would, because it's a work-related dream. Then you have to ask why his father's car is, and so it's a good question to ask. Does it have to do with inheritance, or does it have to do with something else? My inclination would be that it's something that's very close to him because it's his father's car.
Well, I wonder, Stephen,
it could be.
Was your dad
a relational thing?
Was your dad a mechanic?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
And or at least, at very least, a tinkerer on some level, engineer of some kind.
Josh is working at rescuing himself.
Redeeming, not rescuing, redeeming myself. Okay. Rescue and redemption are not the same thing.
That's true.
Yes.
Although they're both good.
Yeah. If Stephen's dad is a mechanic, then that puts another wrinkle to it. Oh, there we go. See, I knew it. I'm digging.
There you are.
Redemption is on the heels of redemption. That's right. Yeah. Yes, and I worked for him for a number of years. Yeah. Well, and there is kind of that. That's why you can have the idea, like Renee's question, inheritance, right? Because there is that family line thing then. And so what he's working on is his dad's stuff. It's not his stuff. And so he's working on his dad's stuff, and it crushes him. That's the weight of it. Is this really Stephen, or is this his dad's stuff? And so why does it feel crushing when I'm doing the thing that I do? because it's not your stuff, it's your dad's stuff that you're working on. So, that'd be the extra wrinkle that's in there.
Yeah.
Why does what is it that crushes him? It's the father stuff.
Oh, look
So
at
there's
and Lana on tonight from Louisiana. How did
yeah.
he go?
Yeah, wonderful to see Lena on, to see Jody on. Awesome. Okay. So yeah, I think that just adds that extra wrinkle to it as well. Right.
Yeah,
And Renee,
that's a good frame, Stephen, because
yeah,
it helps you kind of process through why am I, and that's why you've had it more than once. Something about recurring dreams is you want to ask yourself. We have these recurring dreams because we get ourselves in the same situation. So let me explain this real quickly so we get it. The same situation doesn't always look the same. It's how we respond internally to a set of circumstances. It's our internal response that actually is what triggers this thing. So, um, three people could yell at you in a negative way in your life. One of them could really um, overpower you, and two of them you could deal with. It has to do with how you internally respond to the stimuli that's in front of you, the things that are happening around you. And that has to do with triggers inside of ourselves, things, the way that our brain processes information, the way that somebody's voice sounds, the way that they say things, the intonations or something of that nature. So when we find ourselves in the having recurring dreams that are dealing with something that is in this sense kind of a negative, why am I feeling the way that I'm feeling crushed. um, it has to do with how we respond to certain things that are happening, and it's like, okay, it's happening again. At that point you want to pay attention to the things that are happening, the circumstances that are around you, and say, how is this like the other thing that happened before?
right.
And it'll help you get to the root cause of why you respond to things the way that you respond to them, because they don't
Yeah.
always look the same, but the response seems to be the same. So hopefully that helps a bit on a
And,
recurring
and
like that.
yeah, and one other thing I'll throw out about just a question that Stephen can ask is um just digging a little bit, but what 9 months over on the 29th for me as well. That's amazing, Stephen. Congratulations.
Congrats.
In terms of, because it's the weight of the father, right, that
Yeah.
crushes and keeps you. And so this isn't like, when we look at fathers and dreams, that God the Father, there's a pretty negative outcome. There may be a crushing in life with God, but generally not a crushing that squeezes the life out of you in that sense. So, was the work environment the kind of, or your relationship with your dad, the kind of relationship that put a lot of pressure on you, especially pressure to perform and pressure to do things right, that kind of stuff? Because that's the context.
Yeah.
Everything has to. Then it's the yellow car, right? Look, well, I don't know if it's so much the color's yellow because it's his dad's. It actually is. I think his dad's really nice car. The Studebaker he said earlier. And so that there may just be another layer of healing father wounds of expectation, and and I have to do this a certain way. And the reason I have to do this a certain way is because if I don't, my father's not going to be pleased with me. And I just say with that, and anybody that's really struggling with that, is that the Father, in the sense of God the Father, is pleased with you. That you can't disappoint him, because how could you disappoint a being that knows everything you're going to do anyway? And so you never surprised him. You can't disappoint him. And so we just say the Father is kind and tender, and he loves you. And the pressure is not from him. And so we just bless anybody that's been struggling with that father. Oh, my father put so much pressure on me. I feel like I always have to perform. Is that just bless you with the reassurance that your heavenly Father loves you and cares for you.
Well, this is a good segue into what it is you want to do this summer, isn't it?
Yeah, we were just talking about that this week, right? Actually today. We've been trying to brainstorm a summer teaching / meeting series, as an online class kind of fellowship thing, right? And so one of the, what we've been batting around as of today, and I think is probably where we're landing, is a summer series, which will be a couple of weekends in the summer. We're still ironing out the details on healing the wounded heart, and going through what does that look like? What's the healing process? What are tools for healing? How are you equipped for healing? And what are some of the ways we see that happen? And how do we understand the nuances of the healing journey? And so the Healing the Wounded Heart summer series would be all about equipping you, one, to be a healer, but two, to understand what healing actually means and what healing looks like. And the idea is to, I'm assuming that's what you were talking about, Dan. Yeah. And so I've got my wife. This is the big one. Okay. Aaron has tentatively agreed to teach this with us. Okay. So
I have not worked on Teresa yet, but she would, getting her on too would be great. Amazing.
That's the idea, is that we're going to get, my dad and I will be putting it together, but Aaron and Teresa, who have long time worked within the context of inner healing and healing prayer. Renee, yes. So Aaron has agreed tentatively, and so we've still got to work out some of the details. Maybe I'll just have to pay her really well or something, and then she'll be on my own wife. So we'll have some details for that coming up. Actually, we have there's 3 courses we're working on, some of the details, that being one of them. Right now we're looking at a week-long course at the end of June, and so the information will be out pretty quickly about this stuff. Stephen, of course, I super appreciate Stephen and just the tenderness you carry and how soft your heart is. Absolutely, Stephen. So Ken will be teaching also, and
yes, I will.
And so there's 3 that we're working on, so we'll get the information out about that pretty soon. So that's coming out. Yeah. So yes, there you go.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It will be very, very both. So here's our desire is always to not just give you information.
That's right. Yeah.
But to give you skills coupled with information that you can walk away with and say, and find ways to implement those things so that they make sense and they make new practices in your life that will help you to move forward in ways of healing, within your own self in healing. Because we all have to do that. There's always things that crop up inside of us. And some have a healthier background than others. Some people struggle. I mean, things get in the way all the time, and you just have to find ways to get those stones out of the path. And for some of us, we need to learn how to use the dynamite to get the boulders out of the path.
Yeah. So that's right.
Some people just have stones, others have boulders, and
some of us have been given a soft-toed shoe to get the boulder out of the way.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, and we keep hurting ourselves.
A steel-toed boot instead.
Yeah. And so let's give you the right tools to move the right kind of obstacle and apply the right kind of pressure in that situation, the right kind of force. So So a part of that whole journey is
here we go.
Transformation book. We're only in pre-order. By the way, we're only in pre-order for 5. Yeah, pre-orders 5 more days. All right. So Transformation book. We've shipped the first round of pre-orders, but the pre-order bonus right now is that if you order the book, you get a free devotional from the Desert Father devotional series. So I'll put a link in here. Yeah. So I know I've been hearing from some people they've already gotten their. Jeanette hasn't gotten hers yet. Well, yours is gonna be a little bit longer in the sense of shipping. Yours is in the mail, but it's. Annette's is in the mail, but it's got to cross the border, so it takes a bit longer, but hopefully it'll be there in the next couple. It went out last week, so hopefully it'll be here in the next couple of days. So there's that. Okay, what other dreams do we have going on here? So, maybe let's bring Karen in.
Okay.
Okay. Karen, if I taking your book. Oh, nice. So Karen's got the book. Wonderful. Yeah. So the Canadian people got the book already. Here's a link to, by the way, if you have a dream, if you posted your dream, we have a couple dreams. I know we had Maggie Turbot's dream is one I sent you. I haven't seen Maggie on. But if you've got a dream that you want to have interpreted and it's a short dream, there's a couple in here I've seen. Hannah Joy. Yeah, Hannah Joy had a short one. Michelle, well, we talked about Michelle's already. Let's see. Laura Rayleigh Sanders. She had a short dream. Laura, if you want to jump in, where is all these? I'm just looking through these dreams.
Keisha had one. It wasn't as short, but
Hannah Joy wants to jump in. Feel free to jump in. Just click the link that I just put in the chat. And once you click the link, type in your name and then hit enter studio. So we can have a couple people on here also.
Oh, and you mentioned Laura already, right? Laura Sanders.
Yeah, I did. So if anybody's still on, or anybody else, if you have a short dream and want to jump in, feel free to. And we'll work on that. Yeah, just looking through these. Yeah. So Karen, if you want to jump on, we can talk about yours. Zothili, we have not done your dream. So I think we said we were going to do Zothili's dream last week, right? Can you post it in here, Zothili? It'll be the easiest way to get in there. Laura, go ahead and jump in. Click the link.
I have it.
Zothili, click the link and come in. Or Zothili said that Hannah's going to jump in. Zothili, we were going to do the text maybe that Zothili was there. Her internet wasn't quite up to snuff.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So we had her one was my past. Is the one that you want to deal with my past, Zothili?
Well, let's go over that one, Karen. Okay. If you Karen's is a simple one, so let's do Zothili's as Laura jumps in. Just click the link, Laura.
She's on her phone.
And Laura, by the way, if you use a laptop, it'll be easier than using your phone. The laptop's a little more straightforward if you have a laptop. So just click the link or post the link into your URL bar, the web address bar at the top of your that is the link there, the StreamYard link there. So
just click it.
Yeah. Okay, why don't you bring up Zothili's dream?
I will do that. Oh, I haven't even shared the screen yet.
No, you haven't.
I made it big enough. What am I doing? What kind of
dealing with my eyesight?
Yeah, so your old man eyesight.
Well, it's just the genetics.
Okay. Everybody's got to be a comedian.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, Zothili, here we go. We'll do Zothili. Laura, you jump in, and then we'll get to yours.
So we can read hers real quickly.
Yeah.
She said she's entitled "My Past."
Okay.
She said, I had a dream about my ex. I am married. We were chatting and hugged.
First off, before you finish it for Zothili, you're married presently. And okay, Hannah's on, so we'll get to Hannah's in a sec. Zothili, you are married, and you also have an ex. You didn't just have an ex in the dream, but you actually have an ex.
Yeah. So it sounds like.
Yeah.
So we were chatting and hugged. Then I was traveling to a city I used to stay when I was in college. As soon as I got there, it got dark and dangerous. I realized I had no place to sleep. I don't know anyone who can help me with the place. Everyone I knew doesn't stay there anymore. I started to realize that I don't know why I went there, and I had nothing. I had nothing with me. No clothes to wear, no bag, not anything. I started questioning myself about why I did come here. I asked a stranger for a place to sleep for a night and told them that I lost my clothes somewhere. She was kind enough to let me sleep.
Okay, so there's basically three things that happen in here, right? In the dream, you were chatting and hugging your ex, and then you are
which is the past.
Yeah, which is the past. And then you were traveling to a city you used to be in.
Mm-hmm.
And
What
I
we
see.
got on?
We got Zothelia on right here. Why don't we bring her in?
Okay.
Okay, Zothelia, I'm going to add you right to the
Sorry,
stream.
we're
Hannah,
jumping over you, Hannah.
you hang tight. We'll get you in there, Hannah, and Zothelia, then Hannah. And okay, here we go. Let's take that one out. Let's get Zothelia in here. There we go.
Hi,
Okay.
can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Yep,
you. Wonderful,
hear you.
Zothelia. Yeah. Okay. So
Okay. Okay.
let me just walk through the dream and make sure we understand it right. And then we'll go about interpreting it. So
Okay.
welcome to the show, Zothelia, by the way. It's great to meet you.
Yay. Thank
Yes.
you.
So in the dream, you are chatting with an ex, like an ex-boyfriend, ex-husband, yes, okay. And you guys hug.
It is.
What's that?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, you guys hug, and then are you with him the whole dream?
No, just
Just in the
that
first
part.
part. Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I thought. So then you're in a city where you used to go to college, and you're going,
Yeah.
I'm missing my clothes, my purse, everything. What am I doing here? And why am I not prepared with the stuff that I need to spend the night, right? So then you ask a stranger, some lady, if you can stay in her house, and she graciously allows you to stay in her house
Yeah, for the night.
for the night. Yeah.
Yes. So, yes, you're right. So I'm traveling, and then as soon as I reach that town, I realize I didn't even pack. I didn't bring money.
Okay.
And I'm not even sure why I came there. What am I doing?
You were completely unprepared, is what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think also it's the same city where I went to the college is where me and the ex used to date. It was back in college.
Okay.
In the same, so maybe I think that's how it relates with him, but I don't know.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So first part, you're talking and hugging with your ex, then you're in the city that you used to date him in, and then you're given a room to stay in for the night because you don't have the things that you need. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the this is one of those dreams, like we've talked about dreams that answer questions.
Mhm.
Questions
Okay.
like, why do I feel unprepared in life? Why do I feel like I don't have the things that I need to have, right? Because that's the existential part of the dream is I don't have my stuff. I'm trying to move forward. I'm trying to do what I'm supposed to do, and I don't have the stuff with me. And so the kind of question is, why do I feel unprepared for some of the stuff I'm involved with? And the answer in the dream is really in the first part, because the question is in the second part. The answer to why is in the first part. The first part is because
the first part.
What's that?
The setup is right there in the first
Yeah,
part.
the setup's right in there in the first part is the hugging and the kissing the ex. Now, sometimes those feel like, oh, why that in a dream? I don't want that, right? We've got these dreams where we're going, why does that happen in the dream? Well, it's a metaphor. So you have to remember that it's a metaphor. So as a metaphor with going back to an ex is, or going back to an old relationship is going back to old ways of thinking, or going back to old patterns and old habits. And so it's, why do I always feel unprepared? Well, there's some old patterns and old ways of thinking that that God is addressing. So that's really what the dream is saying. I feel unprepared. Why do I feel unprepared? Because there's some old patterns and old habits, some old ways of thinking that God wants to address. And so you've been covered by grace, even when you feel unprepared or unable, right? You still find a place to stay,
Right.
but the Lord's addressing some of the ways of the relational ways of relating to yourself and to others. Yeah. Anything to add to that, Dan?
Well, the thought that comes to me is the kindness of strangers.
Oh yeah.
That there's kindness that gets you out of the situations that you find yourself in. The kindness of God and the kindness of those who care for you, strangers in the sense that they're not part of those old patterns. That's been the one saving grace that's kept you moving forward, in those situations.
True.
And so that's what you've come to rely on, but you still have the question, why do I keep getting in those situations? It's one thing to have people help you out of them. It's another thing to resolve the beginning part of it, the thing that gets you there. And that's where this dream is really good. There's hope in that there are ways out. God can, there is so much grace and compassion over your life that no matter what you do, you keep finding that you can't not be taken care of.
Okay.
The grace of
Yeah.
God is overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because he watches after you all the time, even then when you're not prepared for it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So
so resolving those old things. So that's what this dream kind of helps you say, is I need to resolve some of these old things so I don't keep coming into this place where when I'm not prepared. And I don't have to just rely on grace, which is always good to rely on, but it's good to be the one who gives it. So I'm shifting to being one of those strangers who's prepared to help someone because out of a difficult situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah,
And probably part of the old patterns that the dream's highlighting would probably have to do with communication and not so much intimacy, because it's a hug, not a kiss, but just relating in closeness or fondness.
Yeah.
And because again, it's a hug, it's not a kiss, right? And it's just
yeah.
talking and it's a hug, right? So
Right.
it's not so much relating in intimacy, but it's just relating in nearness. So there's some patterns and habits in your life that he's just going, you're always going to be covered, but let's address some of these ways of thinking.
Yeah.
That's essentially what the dream is saying. So that you no longer find yourself in situations where it's going, why do I keep feeling unprepared? Why do I keep feeling like this happens? And so, Father, we just bless Zothili. We bless the season you have her in. We bless that you are bringing her into a place of intimacy, not with old ways of thinking, but intimacy with your way of thinking. And so, Father, we ask that you'd highlight those moments in her life. You'd highlight the very things you're addressing and the ways that you're drawing her into your heart. And so we bless her with your heart, with your peace, with your passion, that she would know you, and that in looking at you, she would find strength for the journey, strength for her life. And Father, you just bring a solidity to who she is and how she communicates herself. No longer relying on patterns of the past, but communicating who she is today and being who she is today and occupying her space and who she is in the day and age that she's in. So we just bless her, Lord.
Amen.
Amen. Okay.
Amen. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much,
So glad
Zothili,
you
for
were able to
coming
get on this week. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Nice to meet you.
wonderful to
Awesome.
see you. Yeah, love doing it this way. Okay, we're gonna,
Thank-
Zothili, you can just close the browser and it'll take you right out. We're gonna move on. We've got Hannah Joy and Laura Sanders is on as well. So
And Karen's
we're gonna
come in.
bring Karen's in also. Great, Karen jumped in. Okay, so we're gonna bring Hannah in. We'll just work through them in order that I see them on the appearance. We'll bring Hannah in, then Laura, then Karen. And so you see Hannah's dream up there now. We're going to bring her in and have Hannah tell us her dream. So, Hannah, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be here. First time joining.
Yeah, that's right.
Good.
That's right. Great to meet you. Awesome.
Good to meet
Okay.
you too.
Tell us your dream. I think you put two dreams up, so you got to choose one of
Yeah,
them.
I put. Well,
that's
would you
good.
be able to choose I did put the first one of my friend who passed away. It was about. I remember it very vividly. Actually, I know that she passed away and went to heaven, and I had this dream that I seen her smiling at me, and this whole glory, like just circling around her face, and it was just like I knew it was something good. But I'm like, okay, maybe it's like the Lord telling me that she sees me, but not in like a weird way. But I felt that she was smiling upon me, and she looked very youthful. When she passed away, she was about 62. So when you go to heaven, obviously you're very youthful. And so I seen her, and there was just glory all around her, and I just felt this peace. But I vividly remember it, like even to this day. I had this dream maybe a year ago, and I remember it so clearly in my head.
Right. This dream is one of those mysteries, really.
Right.
And there is the kind of the general obvious. She's she's obviously doing okay. Right. Just
Right.
the affirmation that she's in the place that you've anticipated she would be in, right? And in heaven with the Lord. But then there's the I love that the impression you have in the dream is that she's looking at you. You
Yeah.
see, it's not so much that you see her, it's that she sees you, right?
Right.
And so I would say kind of the mystery of these things is there's just more to the great cloud of witnesses than we really understand. And Paul talks about this in Hebrews 11 and 12, right, where he talks about the great cloud of witnesses, but he talks about those that have gone before are cheering us on from their place. Right? They're anticipating the great things that we're going to do. All the things they anticipated that they didn't see, they're anticipating that we would do and we would walk into. Right. So, there's the deeper layer of this, not even just that, hey, it's this wonderful affirmation that she's with the Lord and she's enjoying herself, but that, that heaven's anticipating what this woman did, that what she envisioned or was passionate about, that Hannah's going to step into and accomplish. And so, there's an element of that you're carrying forward. What this friend of yours, the legacy that she left, you're carrying that forward.
And on top of that, these dreams are also a gift.
Yes.
So I would assume, just based on how your dream played out, that your friend, her passing had a significant impact on you, and and because you needed answers to something, you needed something that clarified what it was that you'd lost, and why it felt like you couldn't resolve the loss, and it's that you needed to know the connection that exists, and what's been passed on to you through that relationship, so you can move forward in life. And I would imagine after that dream, you probably were more settled in that whole loss of your friend.
Yeah, definitely. I was asking the Lord to confirm, and just I would love to see her. You hear many people who have heavenly encounters and they see their friends who passed on, and I'm like, Lord, I haven't had that. And so when I had that and I seen her, it totally brought this peace upon me, because it definitely took a big toll on me. She was my best friend, and she passed away from cancer, and it just it was really hard on me. But through that, the Lord has done a big work in my heart. And even though my mom actually she goes to heaven, and so she's seen her in heaven, that in her mansion, she has a picture of me in her mansion. And so that just makes my heart full, because it's that's how much she loved me, even though I'm 21 and she's, she was 62 when she passed. Even though there's a big gap, we had a big love for each other. And it definitely helped with my healing process. I know that Jesus brings the healing, but he definitely allowed that dream to happen and to bring that confirmation. Absolutely. For sure. Yeah. And she looked very youthful.
That's the funny thing. That's I don't know that scripture tells us. I can't think of a particular reference that it says, and we will be youthful in heaven. Although there'll be no more tears or heartache or pain or any of those things. And I know now that I'm 41 that there's, if I go exercise, there's a little more pain than there used to be when I was 21. So, maybe there's something in that. But one of the things is that I'm gaining from our conversation that you really looked up to this friend.
Very much so.
And it's interesting that, in the context of the dream, it's not so much you looking up to her, it's her looking up to you. That whole anticipating, what is Hannah going to be doing? And it's almost like what you saw in her, that light, that effervescence, all of that, she's looking at in you and anticipating that that's what Hannah's going to step into, and that's who Hannah's going to be. So, I think in a way you can say that you get the privilege of carrying on the legacy So
Yeah, that's awesome. Wow.
yeah,
No, I honestly, I just thought, oh, like I get to see Glory and my friend, but wow, this is awesome.
yeah.
It's a good
Yeah.
dream.
So Hannah, we just bless the gifts and the call on your life. We just bless the passion you have to be used by the Lord. And we bless the impact you're going to have on people's life, the impact you do have on people's lives. And we bless that. We just bless you to dream bigger than you possibly could. And to see yourself in light of God's call and God's heart for the whole world, not just God's heart for the person down your street, but that is one, but in light of your call, God's heart for the whole world. And so we just bless that passion, Hannah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Amen. Okay.
Thanks for coming
Amen.
on.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much.
Yeah. Thanks so much for coming on, Hannah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right.
Have a
Bless
great
you.
night, guys.
Yes, you
Bless
too.
you. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thanks.
Bye. Okay, Laura Sanders. That was such a great dream.
It was.
Yes, I love that. Okay, we're gonna bring Laura Sanders on now, and here we go. Laura, welcome
Hey guys.
to Tuesday/Wednesday night dreaming.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for taking my dream. I have it written down right here. I had this dream on December. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can hear you. Very good. Yeah.
I had this dream on December 26, 2021. I had two dreams the same night. I'll spare you the other one. It was another spiritual dream, but this one, I was on the periphery of the a TV set. Oprah Winfrey was doing a show about these things that looked like obelisks. So they were like oblong with a little pointy top,
Okay.
and they seemed to move at will, almost like they were living, even though they were like black stone structures and so they moved around. They would come up to me. They would start to come up to me, and I would say to each of them as they would come toward me, "Jesus Christ is God, come in the flesh." And when I did this, they would retreat from me.
Okay.
And then a woman approached me in a menacing sort of a way. It wasn't Oprah, it was some other woman on the set. And I said the same thing to her, and she reacted, started to have a manifestation, and acted as though she were going to physically attack me. And then I woke up. And when I woke up, I don't know why, but what I wrote down was that my thoughts immediately turned to the Tower of Babel. Isn't that weird? That's weird.
Well, not so weird as you might think, actually.
Not as weird as you might think. Methinks we may have an intercessory seer in Laura Sanders on our show right now.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Yes.
You want to walk back through that, Josh?
Yeah, so I'm just going to repeat the dream back to you, Laura. Make sure that we heard the whole thing. So in the dream, are you on the set of Oprah's show or just watching it?
I'm like standing at the very side, the very edge of it, watching everything
I
happen.
love that the Lord sends people like you into situations like that. Okay, that's wonderful. It reminds me of stuff that happens with my wife. And so you're watching Oprah talk about these two obelisks. And
there were actually many. There were several, and they're all moving around.
Oh, okay.
Like at the same time. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Many of them, and these obelisks were moving, and they would approach you, and you would say,
"Jesus Christ is God in the flesh."
Okay. Right. Yeah. Which is the 1 John 4.
Right.
Yes. Jesus Christ is God come in the flesh, and they would retreat.
Right.
And they couldn't come near you. And then this woman who was frustrated with you was trying to kind of, vent to you, or, she was angry with you, and you said the same thing to her.
Yes.
And she started to manifest, and then you woke up.
Right.
Right. Yeah. This is a great dream.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
Are you aware that of the obelisks that these guys have been planting in different places around the world?
No.
You weren't aware of that? There's a group of guys that have been planting their own obelisks and not telling anybody that they were doing it, so that people would come upon them and think and try to figure out what was going on, that maybe some aliens had left this or something like that. It's a big thing, actually.
I can find out about this on the internet.
Yep. Yeah, you can
Oh,
Google
wow.
it. Yeah.
And
I'll have,
and
I'll have to look that up.
and it when you're telling me that story, it brings that other story to mind for me. And the
Huh.
thing that is fascinating about that other story is that someone is trying to create their own mystery. And when you confront someone's created mystery, it is exposed for what it is in this dream.
Mhm. Wow.
And the same is true with the other one the person who comes to you. They want to create their own. They're in the midst of trying to create a mystery out of something that is human
Yeah.
based. And
Right.
when you call it for what it is, it reacts both times.
Yeah.
So anyway, go ahead, Josh. I was just
Well, I know I love that that the mystery and also the false sense of spirituality and the false sense of religious practice, right? Which Oprah would be known
Oprah
for.
kind of embodies that, right?
Yeah, she does. Yeah. And
yeah, exactly.
and you're not, and I love that, Laura, you're not going looking for a fight. You're just responding to the moment and saying, you can't come here,
Right.
and calling it for what it is.
Right.
And exercising, of course, the first of the this is how you test the spirits if Jesus Christ has come in the flesh, right? And so you're just exercising your divinely appointed authority and functioning right within your call and your gift. And when you do, the atmosphere shifts. That thing that is trying to influence, because that's what the obelisks would do. They would draw people into the mystery. That thing that's trying to influence and that thing that's trying to draw people in and make them intrigued by the strangeness of the phenomenon. When you can, so thinking more broadly than that, there's probably some places you're involved with where people tend to emphasize the strangeness of what they're doing, or the weirdness of what the things look like that they're doing, or the mystery of what they're doing. And you're given, you have, I don't know that I would necessarily say authority, but insight into, not that you don't have authority, but you're not the person in charge, right? In the dream. That's what I mean.
Right.
Is that you're given insight into what's happening, and and given instruction, like this is how to deal with these kind of things. So if you find yourself in those,
you're behind the scenes on someone's vision.
Yes.
You're able
I
to
don't
be
understand.
behind someone else's vision.
Behind someone else's vision?
People have visions.
Okay.
They're not all from God.
In the sense of a vision, not so much Dad, just to clarify, Dad, you don't mean a vision of heaven. You mean a vision to accomplish something.
Right. People
Okay.
have their own vision for this or for that or for the other thing.
Okay.
And they may communicate it as something that they've seen, something wonderful, something of this nature. They may just talk about, these are my goals. But you're behind the scenes on someone else's vision. You're seeing it for what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's really good, Dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
When the Lord's moving, you don't need to make it sound more interesting.
It's true.
It's already
It's
interesting
enough all on its own.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So we need your type, Laura, intercessory seers that can see through the stuff that's happening and really call it out.
So we bless that in you.
It's weird. It's amping up in my life, and I'm trying to. I'm on a huge learning curve with it all.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Laura, we're just gonna pray for you, Father. I just ask that you would bring the people around Laura, so that she can feel at home being weird. And that you would bring people around her that understand her and that get her, and that can
Yeah.
see the same kind of things, and that she can either peer level that she can bounce things off of, but also
Yeah.
people that can give her insight and instruction. Father, will you connect her to the kinds of ministries, the kinds of people, the kinds of communities, the kinds of support she needs to grow in the things that you've called her to grow into, Father.
Yes.
Because you've obviously gifted her to see into different atmospheres, environments, and to call things out and speak what is happening, and to bring orthodox theological instruction in that,
Yes.
Father. And so we just bless her in that, to marry that understanding of the word with the understanding of what's happening in the spiritual realm. And so, Father, we
Yes.
just bless that
Thank you.
and ask you to bring people around her to help solidify that, to train her in that, to teach her in that. And again, like I said, community around her that helps her feel normal being weird. And so we just bless her, Lord. We just bless her. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Laura. Thank you so much for jumping in.
Thank All right.
Okay, until next time.
Go and have
All
a
right.
nice weird night. Have a nice weird night. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Thanks again.
Bye. Yes. Okay, we've got one more. Yeah, and we're bringing Karen in for the shortest dream of all time.
Hi, Josh. Hi, Ken.
Hey there.
Yeah, I just had a dream. I guess it was 2 weeks ago or so. And I was just riding an e-bike, but it was in a really hilly area. What I didn't write in there was that I was trying to find a rest stop, and I couldn't because it was too hilly. I could see it in a distance, but yeah. So I was just riding an e-bike.
So you could see the rest stop in the distance? You were trying to get there?
I'm trying to get to one, but I couldn't
Right.
get to. It's too hilly.
Was it too hilly in the sense that the bike couldn't make it up the hills, or it was just a ways away, the bike?
More of a distance thing.
So like
Not
you'd
that the
come to the
bike
top of the
didn't
hill,
lead me.
see it, and then you'd go back down and then come up and see it. And then, okay. Right.
Yeah. I
So
knew
it
it was in
seemed
the
like it was
distance.
closer, but then it seemed like it wasn't as close. Right.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And so in the dream, you were still trying to get there. You just hadn't gotten there yet.
Right.
Did you end the dream feeling kind of defeated? Like, am I ever going to make it to this rest stop?
A little
Or-
bit. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
A little bit discouraged. I was like, I need to get there, and I just can't seem to get there.
Right.
I have another question for you.
Yeah.
Were you pedaling the e-bike?
I don't think I was.
Okay.
I don't remember pedaling. I just remember seeing the hills. I think in my dream, I was just so shocked I was on an electric bike.
Okay.
And I was
Do
by
you have an electric bike?
I do.
Okay.
I
Well,
do.
I'm just curious at this point.
Yeah, I
That's an
do.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess what sort of struck me was that I'm on something that's moving, but I'm by myself. Like usually I'm in a car, but I'm not
Sure.
driving. I'm in the front seat or, but I'm actually by myself on an electric bike.
You've taken all of John Paul's courses, so you know what John Paul Jackson would talk about. I'm just reflecting. I'm having a moment where
Perfect.
you're like, the way we've taught. I don't think I've ever had to interpret a dream with an e-bike in it. Is my point. It's like this is a new thing, right? Like,
Yeah, John Paul wouldn't have had that.
no, exactly. Like we would talk about a bike. A bike is what you do in your own effort, but the thing with an e-bike is it's not your own effort. So we've totally upended how we would normally interpret what a bike might mean, based on the metaphor.
Yeah.
So I think that's
Which is a
pretty
good
funny.
lesson on how metaphors can change.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Totally.
Yeah.
A bike emphasizes personal effort because you're the one pedaling, but now you've got an e-bike, so it no longer emphasizes personal effort. I mean, an e-bike, you can still pedal and have it assisted by the motor, but in your dream, you don't remember doing that. You're just on the e-bike and it's going. So now what that emphasizes is something very personal to you. It's only about. So this is just something about Karen. Right. If you're in a car, it talks more about the capacity to bring people along as opposed to or the people in the car with you, right? And an e-bike, it's just you. So this is talking about your personal journey and the things God has energized you to do, right? Because it's electricity, it's his power to do things. And on this journey that you've been on, in doing things God has called you to do, he's equipped you to do. So in the dream, and when did you have the dream? Just recently?
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago. But
Yeah,
within the last month.
In the up and down of trying to do the things God's God has gifted you to do, or he's given you the grace or strength to do. And it looks like, did we just get disconnected from Facebook?
So
Well, it looks like we may have. We'll see. Anyway, so sorry, I'm just distracted now. I just got a note, but we just got
That's
a notification that said it's having trouble streaming to Facebook. So whatever, it's going to YouTube. So the in that up and down, sometimes you catch a vision and go, oh, rest is coming, or that place of reprieve where I can finally just, oh, okay, I don't have to be on anymore. And that place is coming, but you know, in all the ups and downs, it feels so far off. There's no resolution in the dream, right? It's just,
Yeah.
And so at the time you had the dream 2 weeks ago, were you pretty tired?
I was tired, but you know, it just really is speaking into something that I probably just stepped into that
Okay.
feels like it's really up and down right now.
Right.
And yeah, and it just confirms to me that what I've stepped into does feel like I'm alone in many
Right.
aspects
Right.
of it. And
Yeah.
so, and I think it means there's times of up and downs that are in that part of the journey that I've just taken a hold of.
Yeah,
So,
and Karen, in regards to that too, that doesn't mean it has to be that way. It means that Karen feels that way. So, right? So that can be some insight, and that, because that's really good being able to recognize that. That can be insight that says, "Oh, okay, presently it feels like there's a lot of up and downs and I'm doing by myself. Maybe what I need to do is find some support and find some other people and start to plan towards that. You know, maybe it's not practical right now in what you're stepping into, but start to think, okay, well, how do I bring other people alongside this and alongside myself? So it no longer is just me feeling like I'm going up and down, right? It's giving you insight into why you feel that way, because you're on the bike by yourself and it's being powered by God. But maybe we get some other bike riders in there, right? Where you're able to say, well, at least I'm with some people. Now we might be up and down still, but at least I'm with some people.
totally makes sense. Fits
Yeah.
perfectly for sure.
well,
Yeah.
and the other part of it is that there is a way to find rest in all of this. You aren't there yet, but there's a way to find rest. Rest
Yeah.
is not. It seems elusive, but it is there.
Mhm. Yeah, it's even you can rest in the movement.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I would agree. So that's awesome. Thank you so much. That's
Yeah.
great.
Wonderful.
That's
Okay. Thanks for jumping in, Karen. And
I will.
We'll
Thank
see
you.
if we're still live or not.
yeah.
Thanks much.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. See you, Karen. Okay. Well, I think, I don't think we're live on Facebook, but it's
I
still
don't think
streaming
we
to
are either,
YouTube.
but
So
I see we have a 0 up there. So
we have a 0 up there. Yeah. So, well, anyway, for those that are going to watch this afterwards or listen to that last little bit, we just bless you to engage that dreaming mysteries with God, that you would know the depth of his heart and that you would be fascinated with how much he loves you and how much he communicates with you. So we bless you with that. We've come to another end of Tuesday night dreaming on Wednesday night. And so, until next time, we'll see you next week on Tuesday.
on Tuesday.
Yeah.